So last week we told you about the brutal beating of a 13-year-old white kid by 3 African-American teens on a school bus in Florida. On the 5, we've been calling for civil rights leaders and the president to speak publicly about the issue. We still haven't heard a word from Al Sharpton, President Obama, Eric Holder, or the NAACP, but over the weekend, the Reverend Jesse Jackson stepped up to the plate and said this.
We're trying to make contact with the family of the kid because we should discourage people attacking people. What is black, white, white, black, black, black? People should stop attacking people. We must learn to live together respectfully in a civilized way. And it becomes black, white, white, black. It just makes matters worse. It does not make matters better.
So, Bob, it took a while, but, you know, let's give credit where credit's due. The Reverend Jesse Jackson did step up and make a comment.
Yeah, and he also, you know, he was in Africa during most of this, so he really did say I was, you know, have been away. But I think his important point was he said black, white, white, black, that he went right to the core of the thing, and he said, you know, we just have to, you know, it doesn't matter what color you are, you just have to stop attacking each other, which is not a bad thing to say. I mean, that's the Jesse Jackson I remember. I've seen the good Jackson, I've seen the bad Jackson over the years, and I've seen him many times and talked to him many times, but this is where he's very good at doing things like this. I'm glad to see he did it.
Any surprises we haven't heard from any of the other ones, Kimberly?
Well, no, but I mean, you know, where's Al Sharpton, right? I mean, he certainly has a prominent role and position, especially in the wake of the Trayvon Martin case, and then, of course, with his position now in television and cable news. This is a time for him to show unbiased leadership and make a comment and discuss this if he is really interested in moving forward as a country to discuss these issues in a meaningful, non-sensational, and accurate way.
Well, the reason why Al Sharpton hasn't come out yet is because he's waiting for it to be a hoax. Then he will come out and defend it because that's what he does. He's only attached himself to lies. One of the things we got to be careful is the tit-for-tat thing. One side will find a hate crime and then the other side will do the same. But this does raise a question that bullying is only a big deal if it is the majority over the minority. They will always use the powerful versus the powerless argument. Blacks have been persecuted for centuries. But that, to me, is an illusion of help. For the powerless are actually attacking the powerless more than anybody else. It's black against black crime that is really the issue here. So constantly turning this into a race thing doesn't help anybody, especially when you always point to race as the origin of everything. It doesn't cause any real solution.
It's also true about whites. I mean, whites generally attack whites.
Yeah, exactly.
If you look at, so that's a good point.
Dana, we contacted the Reverend Al Sharpton, did not respond. We contacted the Department of Justice, did not respond. The NAACP, Ben Jealous, did not respond. Cory Booker, because Bob mentioned Cory Booker earlier in the call, did not respond, but the White House did respond. They sent us some old talking points about bullying and school safety.
Again, it's bullying, though. Did you know see my point?
Changed it. Yeah,
they changed it. They turned it anyway.
Well, I think that the White House was right to do that. I mean, I would have done the same thing in that position. But they are vulnerable in that when President Obama decides to comment on one local case, then he creates a firestorm. He has talked about bullying before. And in New Jersey, didn't they pass, isn't there a big no bullying law in New Jersey? But I was thinking about something earlier. Do you remember the bus aide, the elderly woman, well, I shouldn't say elderly, but she was 65, retired, and she was the school bus aide, and she was being just ripped apart by those kids.
Right.
That was on every network television show. We talked about it for days. So that there is something to the powerful being the young, and you said something last week that made me think about it this weekend, actually. It was very thought-provoking, about older people being scared of the younger generation. And how powerful that becomes. And when we ask, why aren't the adults in the room? Why aren't they doing something? Why didn't the bus driver do something? But this is actually a drug crime, in my opinion, because it's reported that the kid who was beaten up, they tried to sell him drugs earlier. He told the administrators about it. The administrators then don't do anything to prevent this. Maybe they didn't think it was going to happen. I don't think anybody wants this kind of thing to happen. But drugs is at the heart of this.
Take a listen to Alan West. He commented on Facebook. He said, "Who leaked the information provided in confidence by the victim about the black teens selling drugs? Who allowed those same individuals to board the bus, which was not theirs?" Somewhere in all of this was a breakdown of school administrative responsibilities to protect this young man. Good point, right?
I think so. He hits it on the head there, because there was a breakdown there that resulted in a child getting brutally beaten. It was unnecessary, and they should have taken steps to make sure that he was safe. They have an obligation to do so.
But go ahead, Bob. How these kids?
Well, I mean, first of all, you know, I had a situation like this, a personal situation, where a niece of my in my family had not gone to high school for, like, we got a notice, 60 days. So it turns out that she was going there and checking out and going out and doing drugs. So I went over to talk to the head of the security, and I said, look, I just drove up your driveway. This guy's selling drugs down there. He says, nobody's selling drugs. I said, yeah, they're selling drugs. So he said, no, they're not. I said, come with me. So we went down. First of all, it was about 90 degrees. These guys had long coats on. That might tell you something, right? Yeah. And then when I said, why don't you just watch here for a second? Just you stay at this corner. I'll go to the next corner. I went to the next corner and copped some dope. And that guy said, gee, that's amazing, right here on the school property. I mean, these guys are clueless.
And then you turned it back in.
Of course I did.
Yes, absolutely. After a 3-day binge. No, I'm kidding.
Thoughts on the...
That was then. That was then.
How did they get back on the bus?
I don't know. I don't know. Just heard about that now. The thing that bugs me, and no offense to Bob, because I'm going to bring up the left, but it seems like the left, in any of these situations, can play the race card. On either side. So if they were white/Hispanic shoots a black teen, that is racist. If a group of blacks savagely beat a white kid, that's also racist because it's probably rooted in poverty, which is the fault of whites. So in a way, white liberals are worse for any community than heroin because they continue, they continue the lie that you can't expect good behavior, which is in itself racist. The white left believes that blacks can't be expected of good behavior, and that to me is more bigoted than anything.
Speaking,
right?